I want to extend a warm welcome to Prime Minister Abe and congratulate him on his victory and his leadership of Japan.
私は安倍総理大臣に温かい歓迎のお言葉を申し上げ、そして選挙における勝利、そしてまた日本におけるご活躍についておめでとうと申し上げたわけです。
Obviously, Japan is one of our closest allies, and the U.S.-Japan alliance is the central foundation for our regional security and so much of what we do in the Pacific region.
明らかに日本が最も米国にとりまして密接な同盟国でありまして、日米同盟というのはこの地域の安全保障にとりまして、またアジア太平洋地域におきまして中心的な奇跡であると、礎であるということが言えます。
And that friendship extends not just between our governments, but also between our peoples.
で、この友情というのは政府と政府の間にとどまらず、国民同士の間にも存在しております。
Prime Minister Abe himself is no stranger to the United States. I think he and I studied in California around the same time.
それで、安倍総理もアメリカにとっては全くの他人ではないということで、私がカリフォルニアにおりましたときに同じ頃の時期に総理もカリフォルニアに滞在なさっていたとお理解しています。
And this is not his first visit to the Oval Office.
で、このオーバルオフィスに来ていただいたのも今回が最初ではございません。
So we're looking forward to building a very strong working relationship on a whole range of issues.
ですから私どもはあらゆる問題の分野におきまして非常に強力な関係というものを構築していくことをとても楽しみにしております。
We had close consultations on a wide range of security issues, in particular our concerns about the provocative actions that have been taken in North Korea and our determination to take strong actions in response.
そして私どもは幅広い分野の安全保障の分野におきまして密接な協議をさせていただいたところでございます。そして特に私どもが懸念を持っております北朝鮮の挑発的な行動、そして私ども2国の強いそれに対する決意、対応の決意というものを確認したところでございます。
We also discussed a wide range of multilateral issues, and I expressed my appreciation for the support Japan has provided to our efforts in Afghanistan, our efforts to resolve the nuclear issue in Iran, and we expressed mutual condolences around the loss of life at the BP plant in Algeria, and pledged that this would spur greater counterterrorism cooperation.
そして私どもはさらに多面的ないろいろな問題点につきましてもディスカッションさせていただいたところでございます。そして私が日本の今までのさまざまな努力にもお礼を申し上げました。アフガニスタンにおけるところの日本のご尽力、そしてまたさらにイランの核問題を解決するために日本が行っていただいた努力にも感謝を申し上げましたと同時に、お互いに BP のプラントにおきましてアルジェリアにおいてお亡くなりになった日米の犠牲者の方々も痛み、そしてこのような事件に鑑みて今後私どもが反テロリズムの努力を一層強めていく覚悟であるということを認識いたしました。
After this brief session with the press, we'll have an opportunity to extend these discussions over lunch, and we'll have a chance to talk about the close economic cooperation between our two countries.
で、この報道陣のセッションが終わりましてから引き続き私どもは昼食を挟みましてディスカッションを続けていくことになっておりまして、その時には経済面での密接な協力関係ということについて話をする予定。
And I know the Prime Minister Abe and I both agree that our number one priority has to be making sure that we are increasing growth and making sure that people have the opportunity to prosper if they're willing to work hard in both our countries. And so we'll be talking about a host of issues that and steps that we can take in our respective countries to encourage the kind of trade, expanded commerce, and robust growth that will lead to greater opportunity for both the United States and Japan.
そしてまた私と安倍総理は明らかに我々両国にとりまして一番重要な問題の分野というのは、これは経済成長、この両国が成長を引き続き遂げていくということを確実にするための措置をしなければいけないということでございます。それによりまして、国民一人一人が一生懸命働くということによりまして、繁栄をすることができるチャンスを得ることができるんだということを確信してもらわなければなりません。そして日米両国におきまして、この両方の問題につきまして、これからの戦略を話していくと同時に、それぞれの国が貿易を拡大し、そして商業活動も拡大し、そしてそれによりまして経済の成長を増やしていく、そして米国、アメリカ両方の米国とそれから日本と両方の国におきまして、人々が引き続き繁栄を遂げることができるような社会にしていかなければいけないということを確認いたしました。
So, Mr. Prime Minister, welcome, and please extend our warmest greetings to the people of Japan, and you can rest assured that you will have a strong partner in the United States throughout your tenure as Prime Minister.
それでは安倍総理大臣、本当にアメリカによくいらしてくださいました。またお国にお戻りになりましたら、日本の市民の方々にぜひ私どもからの温かい言葉をお伝えください。そして私ども米国はですね、総理の任期中におきましては強力なパートナーとして私は一生懸命努力をし、そして協力をしていく所存であることをお伝えしていただきたいと思います。
もうすでに大統領から詳細なお話がございましたから、私から精一杯でことはございませんが、いくつか申し上げたいと思います。
Yes, Mr. President, you already gave a very detailed briefing of the content of our briefing, so there's nothing for me to add, but I would like to make some additional remarks.
まず第2期政権がスタートしたばかりのオバマ大統領に忙しい中、日米のこの首脳会談の機会を作っていただいたことに感謝したいと思います。
First of all, I would like to thank President Obama for creating this opportunity to have a summit meeting between Japan and the United States at a very busy time when his second term is beginning.
今日はこの日米首脳会談の主要なテーマである日米同盟強化への方向性についてさまざまな課題についてお話をさせていただきました。
I think today's one big theme in our meeting today was for us to discuss in which direction we would be strengthening the alliance between Japan and the United States, and we touched upon many issues that we have to deal with in that regard.
そしてその結果、認識においても、そして具体的な政策においても方向性においても完全に一致することができました。日米同盟の信頼、そして強い絆は完全に復活をしたと自信を持って宣言したいと思います。
And as a result of our discussion, we were able to share our understanding on not just concrete policy, but on the direction to which our alliance is headed. I think I can declare with confidence that the trust and the bond in our alliance is back.
そして、アジア太平洋地域の、戦略的な環境が厳しさを増しております。その中において、日米の協力関係において、自由な海を守り、そして、力によるのではなくて、法の支配による秩序を作っていかなければならないと思います。
And when we look at the security environment in the Asia-Pacific, it's becoming more and more difficult. And we need to create an order in this region based on the cooperation between our two countries to secure the freedom of the seas and to secure a region which is governed based on laws not on force.
そして北朝鮮のミサイル発射、核実験、断固として許すわけにはいかないわけであります。日米が協力をして断固として対処していくということで一致をいたしました。
And we just cannot tolerate the actions of North Korea, such as launching missiles and conducting nuclear tests. So we agreed that we would cooperate with each other in dealing resolutely with North Korea.
そして私から、拉致問題について、話をいたしました。そして、日本の立場を理解をしていただき、指示をしていただきました。
And I also explained to Mr. President the abduction issue by North Korea, and the President understood my explanation and expressed his support.
今後、日米同盟を強化をしていくことによって、両国の国益を守り、そしてまた世界をさらにいい世界にしていくこと、それを我々は進めていきたいと思います。
So we intend to continue to strengthen our alliance, and by doing so, secure our national interests and make this world a better place.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're 1 week from the sequester deadline. I'm wondering at this point if you think those cuts going into effect are inevitable, and what you're telling the Prime Minister and other world leaders about the impact that would have on the global economy.
Well, I never think that anything's inevitable. We always have the opportunity to make the right decisions, and I've been very clear that these kinds of arbitrary automatic cuts would have an adverse impact on families, on teachers, on parents who are reliant on Head Start programs, on our military readiness, on mental health services, on medical research. This is not a smart way for us to reduce the deficit. I've also been very clear that there's an alternative, which is for us to take the kind of balanced approach that I presented, where we have more strategic cuts on programs we don't need, and we close some tax loopholes that are taken advantage of only by the well-connected and the well-off. By the way, that's what the majority of the American people prefer. So I will continue to have conversations with members of Congress, both while they're gone and when they get back next week. My hope is that we can see a different course taken by Congress. This should be a no-brainer, and let me just point out that the overall impact of the economy will be to slow down the recovery. And not only may there end up being direct job loss, but because the economy is softer, it also means that we're not going to be driving down unemployment as quickly as we should. So with respect to world leaders, I think that unlike issues like the debt ceiling, the sequester going into effect will not threaten the world financial system. It's not like the equivalent of the U.S. defaulting on its obligations. What it does mean, though, is that if the U.S. is growing slower, then other countries grow slower because we continue to be a central engine in world economic growth. So I don't think anybody would like to see this outcome. And particularly when we're poised to grow rapidly as housing comes back and we're starting to see real signs of the recovery taking root. It's the wrong prescription. But ultimately, I don't need to persuade world leaders of that. They know that. I've got to persuade members of Congress. That can be harder sometimes.
Even if you think a deal, or even if you think averting the cuts is not inevitable, do you see any realistic sign of being able to reach a deal over the next week?
Hope springs eternal. And I will just keep on making my case not only to Congress, but more importantly, the American people. We should take a smart approach to deficit reduction and do it in a way that doesn't endanger our economy and endanger jobs. I just realized I didn't have a translation of that. It was sort of a domestic question. My suggestion would be why don't we go ahead and direct the next question to Prime Minister Abe, and that one will be translated.
総理、北朝鮮の核・ミサイルや尖閣諸島をめぐる中国の挑発的な行動など、東アジアの安全保障に関して、大統領とどのようなお話をされたんでしょうか。また、その際、平和と安定を維持するための日米同盟の強化策について、具体的にどのような点で一致されたのでしょうか。
まず
Mr. Prime Minister, I would like to ask what you discussed with President Obama about actions by North Korea, such as the launching of the missiles and the nuclear test, and also provocative actions that China is taking vis-a-vis the Senkaku Islands, and also on what actions and measures you have discussed to strengthen the alliance between Japan and the United States at a time when the security environment in the region is deteriorating. What kind of concrete measures did you discuss with the President to strengthen our alliance?
まず、北朝鮮について言えばですね、両国で北朝鮮に対してミサイルを発射したこと、そして核実験、報酬を与えないということであります。そしてもう一点はですね、国連において制裁を含む決議について協力をしていくということであります。そしてまた、追加的なですね、制裁、例えば金融制裁もそうなんですが、追加的な制裁について日米で協力をしていくということであります。同時にまた日米と同時に日米韓一緒に協力をしていくということも重要であるということで一致をいたしました。また東シナ海あるいは尖閣についてでありますが、いわば日米同盟の存在はですね、地域の平和と安定に資するということで一致をしたわけでありますが、同時に日本はですね、常に冷静に対処をしていく考えである、また事実そうしてきたということもお話をしたわけであります。いずれにせよさまざまな出来事に対して日米がよく連携をしていくことが重要であるということで一致をしたわけであります。
On North Korea, the important thing we discussed and we agreed that it was important for Japan and the United States to not provide rewards to North Korea for their actions, such as launching missiles and conducting nuclear tests. That's number one. And number two, we agreed that we would cooperate so that a resolution, including sanctions, would be adopted in the UN. We also discussed additional sanctions, for example, financial sanctions, and we agreed to continue cooperating in that regard as well. And then we also talked about the importance of cooperating with other countries, especially Japan, US, and Korea, in dealing with the issue of North Korea. Concerning the South China Sea and the Senkaku Islands, we agreed that the very existence of the Japan-US alliance is a stabilizing factor which contributes to the peace and stability of the region. We agreed that we would stay in close coordination with each other in dealing with such issues and other issues and a wide range of issues that we are faced with in this region. So we will continue to coordinate in dealing with such issues based on the Japan-US alliance. And excuse me. I also explained that we have always been dealing with this issue, the Senkaku issue, in a calm manner, calm manner. We will continue to do so, and we have always done so.
大統領。
Thank you, everybody.